The Toronto Raptors are among the favorites to land Andrew Wiggins in a potential trade ahead of this year's trade deadline from the Golden State Warriors, as it seems like Golden State is likely to deal him away given all the reports that have come out from their side of things. So lots of stuff to dive into this video, because I know a lot of Toronto Raptors fans are kind of trying to stay away from Andrew Wiggins as much as possible, because he's a guy that came into the NBA with high all-star star expectations, and he's had some moments where it looked like he was reaching that potential, but right now his value is probably at its lowest it's ever been, given his poor performance this season and the contract that he is currently signed to. So we have a lot of things to dive into, and whether or not this makes sense to happen, whether it could actually happen for this Raptors team, and how it would impact the team going forward. So if you guys want to stay up to date also with all the latest Toronto Raptors news, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because over 57% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So we want to keep you up to date with everything regarding this team, and there's a lot going on, so we're trying to cover it all and deliver it for you guys. So it means the world to us if you guys could hit that subscribe button. But let's dive into this sort of news, because the odds as to where Andrew Wiggins will potentially land have been revealed following all the reports, even the Woj bombs that have dropped, revealing that the Golden State Warriors are willing to trade and exploring trades for everyone on the roster except for Stephen Curry. Steph has even come out and said, the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and then expecting different results. So the stars calling for moves, the front office is leaking all these types of things, and Andrew Wiggins is a player that clearly seems to be a guy that the Warriors want to get off of, because his contract is lucrative. I mean, if you look at the sort of money he's going to be getting over the next 4 seasons, 24 million, 26 million, 28 million, and then 30 million, which I'd be surprised he turns down in 2026, 2027, given the way he's been performing as of late. I mean, that is a heck of a lot of money to be pouring into a guy, during the peak of, or the twilight of Steph Curry's career, where they want to win now. Having that burden on your cap really affects this team in terms of building, a good roster around the final years of Steph Curry. The last sort of swing that they're going to have with this current core group of players that they've won multiple championships with, so they don't want to lose or waste any Steph Curry years. So a lot of people are projecting that Andrew Wiggins is going to get dealt, but it doesn't seem the market is very high for him. No one really is interested, because you look at Andrew Wiggins' stats this season, 28 years old, so he's supposed to be entering the prime of his career. Only 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 41% from the field, 29% from behind the three-point line, 68% from free throws. I mean, very poor efficiency in terms of shooting. His on-ball defense has been regarded as something that hasn't been that great as of late either. So nothing's really going right for Andrew Wiggins here now at this point. So people are projecting trades are going to happen. And, the odds have been revealed about Andrew Wiggins' next team. And if you look at the list, the Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls are interestingly enough up there. But, up there in the top 4 odds, again, the difference in terms of probabilities aren't that different from the top 4, but the Toronto Raptors are third on this list. Now, obviously, the Toronto Raptors just acquired a Canadian. Raptors have been linked to Canadians their entire careers, it feels like, but I'm not factoring that into these discussions. Why would it make sense outside of, the having hometown heroes on your roster to acquire Wiggs? Well, obviously, the main sort of things you can piece together is Pascal Siakam going to the Golden State Warriors and Andrew Wiggins' contract being the main sort of money equator in a potential deal. So people look at this and might say, hey, Andrew Wiggins' contract is what it is, but you could get Kuminga, you could get other assets, so it's not really a worry. It's a null sort of acquisition, because right now, given that money and the current production, it's a null. But no, Andrew Wiggins, the years on this contract make this deal, as of right now, as of recording, it could definitely get better if he rehabs his value, and there's been some speculation that there is some off-the-court stuff happening with Andrew Wiggins, so if that gets figured out, then maybe he bounces back, or things there. Obviously, I don't want to read too much into that speculation, but as of right now, given his current performance, expecting, a big turnaround and praying for it, and then taking the risk of $25+ million for the next 3 seasons following this one, that is a massive risk, and that's a massive sort of liability that you have on your books. So the Toronto Raptors, the Warriors, just in a vacuum, would probably have to attach multiple firsts in order to get off of him in the first place. So it's Andrew Wiggins is his own ordeal. So the Raptors were to potentially bring him back. It's not to sort of as a reclamation project. Masai Ujiri shouldn't be bringing him back with the sort of mentality that, okay, this is just a guy that's can his value can be rehabbed with the Toronto Raptors. And no, it's too much of a risk. We need to be getting some serious assets on top of it, if we're going to be making one of these deals. And if Pascal Siakam is involved in one of these trades, I mean, you really have to factor that in, this whole Wiggins sort of drama and getting players back. Because I know Pascal Siakam is an unrestricted free agent. We've talked about him potentially going to the Warriors and things like that. But frankly, Pascal Siakam is an all-NBA dude that, with all of the teams that are interested, I mean, the Mavs, the Warriors, the Hawks, the Kings, the Pacers, who have more news dropping out today, which will probably be another video in itself, right? Multiple teams across the NBA are interested in acquiring this guy, even with the unrestricted free agency sort of looming. There is a market for him, and there are valuable pieces you can get back. So, we don't have to completely sort of just take a absolute reclamation project in Andrew Wiggins in order to make one of these deals happen. So I prefer, obviously, even though I'm a fan of Wiggins, I'm always rooting for the Canadians, even though Wiggins hasn't played for Team Canada that often in the past. I'm still rooting for him to turn his career around. I don't think it's a smart move to sort of bring him back. Now, if you get draft compensation and a Jonathan Kuminga, then maybe you could also talk yourself into, okay, in this Raptors system, less pressure, he gets over whatever's sort of going on. We've seen him be number 2, number 3, number 4 option on a championship winning team. Maybe this contract can be rehabbed a little bit. Again, the shooting percentages are the big concern right now, right? 29% from behind the 3-point line. Shooting wise, again, Andrew Wiggins, you look at the sort of stats this year, only 15% of his shots are coming from the corner, 35%, so not horrible. Most of them are assisted on, so he's getting pretty open and pretty easy looks. It's not like he's sort of creating a lot of his own 3-point shots and they're off the dribble threes and things like that. No. He's getting pretty set spot-up shoots. He's not really making them. Pascal Siakam has been making his set spot-up shots, so that's another knock, another hit to your shooting. And even, Andrew Wiggins has sort of been a guy that people have talked about being a mid-range sort of assassin, and look at his field goal percentage by distance, right? This season, he's making not horrible from 16 to 3-point range feet. Those numbers are actually up, but again, not the crazy sort of, or sorry, not this season. I'm looking at the wrong numbers there. He's down in that 16 to 3-point range stats, 26% from that 10 to 16 foot range. Close to the basket, he's still solid, but again, his middies have also fallen off a cliff, particularly from the 10 to 16 foot sort of distance. So I'm not banking on Andrew Wiggins making a turnaround. If Pascal Siakam sent out, we're going to need some serious pieces back for a trade to potentially happen, or, to be a part of a potential sort of trade. And then obviously we discussed in yesterday's video with DeJounte Murray and things like that. One of the top teams in this sort of mix for a potential deal to go down is the Atlanta Hawks, who are plus 200. Again, DeJounte Murray's been a piece that's linked. Murray doesn't feel like a guy that makes a lot of sense for the Golden State Warriors. Again, doesn't make sense for the Toronto Raptors either. So maybe, deals could go down, multi-team trades happening, and where Wiggins gets rerouted to the Hawks. I'm not going to speculate too much about multi-team trades, but I will end it off here because, frankly, a lot of people obviously neglect these Vegas sort of odds and predictions and things like that. I've been of that stance before. However, they generally have some insider knowledge that isn't made available to the public. Obviously, the court of public opinion does sway these sort of odds and projections greatly, and sort of incentivizing people to bet on different things. But, we can look back to 2019 with the betting odds knew before everyone else that Kawhi was going to get dealt to the Toronto Raptors, and then we neglected him here on this channel, and then that deal ended up going through. We've seen it in different cases. Pirtle was another guy where the odds also had some insights. So they're not nothing. It's not everything, but it's not nothing. But Andrew Wiggins, the Raptors being the third likely favorite to land him, I don't think is something you should just turn your head at. The Raptors, expect something to potentially go down, deals to potentially happen. As the days go on, it feels like more and more likely that Pascal Siakam will end up getting dealt. So stay tuned to the Raptors Digest. We'll be covering all of the latest updates. Let me know what you guys think about the Raptors potentially acquiring Andrew Wiggins. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.